What if that subtle tingle in your toes you keep brushing off as just old age is actually your body trying to wake you up before diabetes steals your ability to walk through the garden with your grandchildren, stand in the kitchen making Sunday pancakes, or simply get up from your favorite chair without worrying about your next step? That persistent coldness in your feet, the one you blame on thin socks or chilly floors, might be something far more urgent. I've sat across from too many patients in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who wish they had paid attention sooner. One man, a retired postal worker named Frank, came to me after ignoring numbness for 2 years. He loved coaching his grandson's Little League team, but by the time he finally scheduled an appointment, an unnoticed blister had turned into a deep ulcer that reached the bone. We saved the foot, but it cost him months of pain, multiple surgeries, and the simple joy of chasing ground balls with a 9-year-old. I'm Dr. Richard Miller. For more than 15 years, I've practiced medicine in the Midwest, caring for thousands of men and women just like you who want to stay active, independent, and fully present in the years ahead. Diabetes is running through nearly 1 in 10 adults in this country, and far too many don't realize it until their feet start sending signals. The damage often begins quietly, because high blood sugar attacks the longest nerves in your body first, the ones that reach all the way down to your toes. Those nerves and the tiny blood vessels that feed them are incredibly vulnerable. Let me explain exactly why your feet become the early battlefield. When blood sugar stays elevated year after year, glucose molecules start sticking to proteins and fats. In a process that creates advanced glycation end products, or AGEs, think of it like gum clogging up delicate machinery. These AGEs trigger chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, the cellular equivalent of rust. At the same time, excess sugar floods the polyol pathway inside nerve cells, producing sorbitol that swells the cells and eventually kills them. The tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to the nerves get damaged too, starving the nerves until they begin to misfire or go silent. This is diabetic neuropathy, and it strikes both feet symmetrically because the damage is systemic. The longest nerves suffer first, which is why symptoms almost always start in the toes and work their way up. Studies following patients for decades show that keeping average blood sugar in a healthy range can cut the risk of serious neuropathy by more than half. That's not a vague hope, that's measurable protection for your mobility, your balance, and your freedom. The same high sugar levels also thicken and narrow the arteries that supply your legs and feet, a condition called peripheral artery disease. Plaque builds faster in people with diabetes. Blood flow slows, wounds stop healing properly, infections find an open door. When you combine nerve damage with poor circulation, a small problem can snowball into an emergency that threatens your ability to live on your own terms. But here's what I tell every patient who sits in my exam room looking worried. Your feet are also honest messengers. They speak early if you know how to listen. The 9 warning signs I'm about to share aren't rare medical curiosities. They're everyday changes you can spot in your own bathroom mirror or while putting on socks in the morning. Recognizing even one of them gives you the power to act before the damage becomes permanent. Let's start with the most common early signal, numbness or tingling in your toes. It often feels like your foot has fallen asleep, except it never fully wakes up. Patients describe it as pins and needles that linger for hours, a crawling sensation under the skin, or feet wrapped in thick wool, even when you're barefoot. Many notice it first at night when everything is quiet and the sensations seem louder. This happens because the damaged nerves can no longer send clear electrical signals. The insulation around the nerve fibers breaks down, messages get distorted or lost entirely. If it affects both feet and seems to be spreading, it's rarely just tight shoes or normal aging. It's your nervous system telling you the glucose levels have been too high for too long. I remember a woman named Margaret, 71 years old, who came in because her daughter insisted. Margaret had written off the tingling as circulation problems for 18 months. She was still gardening every morning, but she had stopped noticing when she stepped on small stones during her exam. We found 2 small ulcers she couldn't feel because she acted when her daughter pushed her to see me. We caught it early. 6 months later, she was back in her garden wearing proper shoes and checking her feet every single morning. That's the difference early attention makes. The next sign often follows close behind, a burning sensation or intense pins and needles pain. Some patients say it feels like walking on hot coals. Others describe electric shocks shooting through their feet or a constant burning that wakes them at 3 a.m. This isn't normal discomfort. It's damaged nerves firing false alarms, sending pain signals when nothing is actually touching the skin. The pain can make you avoid walking, which leads to weaker muscles, poorer balance, and even more risk of falls. Sleep loss from burning feet wears you down, affects your mood, and makes it harder to control blood sugar. Don't try to tough it out with over-the-counter pills and hope it disappears. This is a clear sign that nerve damage is progressing, and the sooner we address blood sugar control and protective strategies, the better your chances of turning the tide. Now let's talk about one of the most dangerous signs because it removes your body's natural alarm system. Loss of the ability to feel pain, heat, or cold. Pain is your protector. It stops you from leaving your hand on a hot stove. It makes you pull your foot off a nail before real damage occurs. When neuropathy advances, that protective pain can vanish. You could step on a thumbtack, burn your foot in bath water that's too hot, or develop a blister from new shoes and feel absolutely nothing. Hours or days later, you notice redness or swelling, and by then infection may have set in. I've treated patients who discovered serious injuries only when they saw blood on their sock or their spouse smelled an odor. One of the most vivid cases I ever saw involved a retired teacher named Harold. He was 78, active in his church, and loved walking the neighborhood every afternoon. His neuropathy had progressed so far that he stepped on a rusty nail in his garage and never felt it. He kept walking his usual 3 miles a day. By the time his daughter noticed him limping and brought him in, the infection had reached the bone. We saved the leg, but Harold spent 6 weeks on intravenous antibiotics and had to give up his daily walks for nearly a year. The experience changed how he viewed his feet forever. He now checks them twice a day with a mirror and never misses a blood sugar check. That story is why daily foot inspections are not optional. They become your new eyes and hands when sensation fades. We'll talk more about exactly how to do them in a moment. The fourth sign is slow healing cuts or sores. A paper cut on your finger usually closes in a few days. On a diabetic foot, the same small injury can stay open for weeks or months. Poor circulation means fewer oxygen molecules, fewer repair cells, and fewer nutrients reach the wound. The immune system is also weakened by high sugar levels, so bacteria multiply faster. I cannot overstate how quickly this can escalate. What starts as a tiny crack between your toes can become a deep ulcer that tunnels toward bone. The statistics are sobering. Untreated diabetic foot ulcers precede the vast majority of amputations. But here's the hopeful part. When patients learn to spot these slow healing spots early and get medical care quickly, most ulcers heal completely and never return if blood sugar is brought under control. Pay attention to color changes in your toes or feet. Healthy feet have a consistent pink tone. If toes turn blue, purple, or a ghostly pale white, that's your circulation waving a flag. Blue or purple means oxygen-poor blood is pooling. Pale color often signals arteries that have narrowed so much that barely any blood is getting through. These changes can happen gradually. You might notice your socks leave deeper marks or that one foot looks noticeably different from the other. Don't wait to see if it improves on its own. Reduced blood flow is a medical emergency in the making because tissue without oxygen dies. I've had patients whose early color changes led us to discover blocked arteries that we could treat with medication and exercise before anything was lost. Closely related is the sixth sign, persistently cold feet. Not the normal chill you feel on a winter morning. I'm talking about feet that feel like ice even when the room is 74 degrees and you're wearing thick socks, or one foot significantly colder than the other. This is usually poor circulation, not nerve damage causing a false sensation of cold. The narrowed artery simply cannot deliver enough warm blood. Many patients tell me they've used heating pads for years, which is dangerous because they can't always feel if the pad is too hot. We replace that habit with warm socks, gentle movement, and medical evaluation to improve blood flow safely. As nerve damage moves into motor nerves, you may develop foot drop or noticeable muscle weakness. The nerves that tell your foot to lift while walking get damaged, your toes drag. You develop a high-stepping gait that sounds like slapping when your foot hits the floor. Balance suffers. The risk of tripping rises dramatically. One patient, a grandmother who loved taking her 3 granddaughters to the zoo, started falling regularly because of foot drop. Once we fitted her with a simple ankle brace and began targeted exercises, the fall stopped and she was pushing that stroller again with confidence. Swelling in your feet or ankles that doesn't go away is another red flag. Temporary swelling after a long car ride is one thing. Persistent puffiness, especially if it's worse in one foot, can signal leaking blood vessels, kidney strain, or heart complications, all of which are more common when diabetes is uncontrolled. Shiny, tight skin over the swelling is especially concerning. It can also be an early sign of infection. Never dismiss new swelling. Get it checked the same week. Finally, changes in the actual shape of your foot. When you can't feel pain, you keep walking on joints that are injured. Over months and years, this leads to collapsed arches, hammer toes, bunions, and in severe cases, the devastating condition called Charcot foot. The bones literally crumble and reorganize into a rocker bottom shape without you feeling the destruction. I've seen patients who suddenly noticed their foot looked different only after the arch had collapsed. Early detection through regular x-rays and custom orthotics can prevent the worst outcomes. These 9 signs are not meant to frighten you. They're meant to arm you. Every single one of them is a message you can act on. The patients who do best are the ones who decide their feet deserve the same daily attention they give their blood pressure or heart medication. So let's turn knowledge into protection. The good news is that the habits that protect your feet are straightforward, repeatable, and incredibly effective when you do them every day. The foundation is daily foot inspection every morning or every night. Sit in a well-lit chair and look at both feet completely. Use a mirror if you need to. Run your hands over every inch. Separate the toes and look between them. You're hunting for anything new: redness, dryness, cracks, blisters, calluses that are getting thicker, nail changes, warmth in one spot, or cold spots that don't match. If bending is difficult, ask a spouse or use a selfie stick with a mirror attached. Make it as routine as brushing your teeth. Many of my patients keep a small notebook by their chair and jot down anything they notice so they can track changes over time. Next, choose proper footwear like your independence depends on it, because it does. Shoes must have a wide toe box, cushioned soles, good arch support, and no seams that rub. Throw away the worn-out bedroom slippers with no support. Invest in quality walking shoes and consider diabetic-specific shoes that Medicare often covers. Before you slide your foot in, reach inside and feel for pebbles, wrinkles in the sock lining, or anything that doesn't belong. Change socks twice a day if they get damp. Never buy shoes in the morning when feet are smallest. Shop in the afternoon when feet are slightly swollen so you get the right fit for all-day wear. Never go barefoot, not in the house, not in the yard, not even to the bathroom at night. I cannot count the number of preventable punctures and burns I've treated from patients who thought just for a second was safe. Keep sturdy slippers with non-slip soles right beside your bed. Wear them the instant your feet touch the floor. Moisturize your feet every day, but never between the toes. Use a thick, unscented cream on heels, tops, and soles. This prevents cracks that invite infection. After your shower, dry between the toes meticulously with a soft towel or even a hair dryer on cool setting. That small space must stay dry. The single most powerful thing you can do is control your blood sugar. Everything else rests on this foundation. High glucose is the poison damaging your nerves and vessels. Bring it down and you slow or even partially reverse early nerve damage. Work with your doctor on medication, insulin if needed, and a realistic eating plan. Focus on vegetables, lean protein, healthy fats, and consistent meal timing. Many patients are surprised how much better their foot symptoms become once their average glucose drops. Add regular movement that is safe for your feet. Walking is excellent, but start with short distances on even surfaces and proper shoes. Simple foot exercises done while sitting strengthen muscles and improve circulation. Point and flex your toes 10 times. Make circles with your ankles. Spread your toes wide, then relax. These take 3 minutes, but pay dividends in balance and strength. See a podiatrist regularly, at least every 3 to 6 months if you have diabetes. They can trim nails safely, remove dangerous calluses, and spot problems long before they become obvious. They can also prescribe custom inserts that prevent pressure points. Control your blood pressure and cholesterol with the same seriousness. Smoking is especially damaging because it further narrows blood vessels. If you smoke, get support to quit. The benefit to your feet and your heart is enormous. Learn the warning signs that mean you drop everything and call your doctor the same day: a red hot spot on your foot, any new ulcer or open sore, sudden swelling with warmth, fever with foot pain, or a change in foot shape. These are not things to watch for a few days. They are emergencies. I want you to think about your feet the way you think about an old trusted friend who has carried you through life. That friend deserves respect and care. The patients who embrace that mindset thrive. They walk their dogs at 75. They dance at family weddings. They stand in the kitchen teaching great-grandchildren how to crack eggs without getting shells in the bowl. One of my favorite success stories is a man named Walter. At 68, he had numbness, cold feet, and 2 slow-healing spots. He decided this was his wake-up call. He started checking his feet every morning while drinking his coffee. He switched to proper shoes, began a gentle walking program, and got serious about his glucose numbers. 5 years later, Walter is 83. He still walks 2 miles most days. His feet look healthy. He plays cards with his buddies every Thursday and never misses a grandchild's ball game. When I asked him what changed everything, he said, "I stopped treating my feet like they were someone else's problem and started treating them like the foundation of my freedom." That's what I want for you. Small, consistent actions beat occasional heroic efforts every single time. If you miss a day of inspection, simply start again tomorrow. If your sugar spikes at one meal, balance the next. Progress is measured in years, not days. Your body responds to steady, loving attention. Take a moment right now and wiggle your toes, feel them move. Those feet have carried you through decades of life. They can keep doing it for decades more if you partner with them. The power is in your hands and in the simple habits we've talked about today. If one of these signs sounds familiar, or if you've already started a new foot care habit that's working for you, tell me in the comments. Your story might be exactly what gives another viewer the courage to make an appointment or start checking their feet tomorrow. We're all in this together. Your future mobility, your independence, your ability to live life on your terms is worth the few minutes a day it takes to protect it. Start tonight, look at your feet. Really look, then put on lotion, check your shoes for tomorrow, and go to bed knowing you took one more step towards staying strong and active for everyone who loves you. Take care of your feet and they will keep carrying you exactly where you want to go. I'll see you in the comments, and I'm rooting for every single one of you.